Hello, my name is Dion and I'm going to guide you through the absolute basics of using PolySynergy. Before we are going to start creating very cool agentic setups, of course it's good to know the absolute basics of how to create a workflow at all. So here you can see the documentation. The documentation is on the website. At this moment it's still highly under construction, but the basics are there. You can also look at this document here, which is under documentation and then tutorials and then flow basics. It will explain the same things that I'm going to explain to you right now by showing it to you. So after, it's not here, where is my editor? After logging into the to PolySynergy, you get a project's overview, and in your case it will be empty if it's the first time that you're visiting PolySynergy. And then here you can create a new project. So let's call it Basics Tutorial Editor. Well, there's a weird type of name, but it doesn't really matter, of course. And now you can see that the project has been created successfully. And here you can go to the project straight away. This will open up the editor, and the editor has a few options here to the left of elements that you can create. You can also see them here, so you can create a route, which is endpoints that trigger flows. You can create schedules. Those are flows that will be triggered every once in a while. You can create chat windows. I will get back to that later because it's a little bit abstract if I try to put that into words right now. And you can create blueprints. Blueprints are reusable flows that you can use in all kinds of other flows. And I'm going to start there. So I'm just going to create a blueprint to demonstrate the absolute basics. I will also call this blueprint basics, and I will call the category basics as well. This is a description. You can describe the purpose of the work of the blueprint and all that, and you can even give it an icon. But I'm going to keep it simple, and here we are. So this is an empty canvas, and to navigate this canvas, you can zoom in and out by using the scroll wheel, and you can press space, and with space and then you drag, you can move the canvas around. If I want to place a new node on the canvas, I can click this plus button here, and that will bring up this whole menu of all the available nodes. You can also press A, you will also get this menu. And I believe you could also do this. I almost never do that, but it's also possible. So I always use the A button. I like to use as many key bindings as possible. And for the very basics, I'm just going to use a variable string. So if I start searching here at the top, variable string, then I can click this variable string node, and I can just place it somewhere on the canvas. So if I click the node, then of course I can drag it around, I can close it. So if you have a lot of nodes, you probably want to save some space. I can open it, and I can give it a value like this. So if I click this node, then on the right you see in the variables panel, you can see the adjustable properties of the node. Let's just make a very simple hello world example like this. Oh, worlds, no, world, no, well, I cannot type anymore all of a sudden. Here we have a node with a variable with hello world, and now I also need a way to execute this flow, because this play button is here, but I cannot do anything with it. That is because the flow does not know where to start. So if I do A and then play, then I have a play node, and I can add the play node here, for example, doesn't really matter. And then I can drag this output here, which is play, to the node like this. Once I do this, this button is activated, and if I click this, then you will see that it will execute those two nodes. So it goes from 1 to 2, 1, 2, and here this panel switched to output, and then you can see run number 1, and you can also see 1 and 2, variable string and the play. So if I click those, then you can see the actual contents of those nodes while they were being executed. Of course, this is very simple right now, so we typed hello world, so obviously the result of this node is hello world. Now, this is not very dynamic. yet, so we will make it more dynamic, but let's also try and see if we can have it create an error first. Because if we create an error, then you can see that it will follow the path through this error output, or if it went all right, it will follow the path through that green result output. I'm going to add two nodes. I'm going to log an error, or I'm going to log info. So if I do log info, I get this node here, and then I will attach the result of this variable string to the message here, because this output also has contents, and I can give the contents to the message of the log info. I can also do this, but that will simply mean that it will, take the node into the flow, but it does not pass along any data. In this case, I do want to pass along data, which will be the resulting hello world string. And of course, if it's going the error direction, I want to set it on the error message. This will simply work out properly. So this will go to log info because everything is all right. Now, you can also see it in the logs here, by the way. So those are the execution logs. And it says info hello world. Now, why does it say hello world? Because we passed the results to the info node, and therefore it will say, hey, hello world. But now I want to make it more dynamic, because this is a little bit boring this way. Instead of simply saying hello world, I want to give this a variable. So let's say my name. Let's say hello Dion. Now I'm going to say hello my name, and you can see that it has a placeholder now for my name. But I don't have anywhere defined what my name should be. So now I'm expecting this node not to be able to parse, or not to be able to execute properly. And then it will take the error path. See, so now we have the error here, and then it says, hey, my name is undefined. We cannot handle my name. You can also see it here in the output. So this is the output of the log error. This is in the message. And there we go. And that is because, and the variable string, of course, gave the error. So that's how it got to the log error. So how are we going to solve this? There are several ways. Let me first start by going to values, and then through values here, I can define a variable that I can input to this node. So I can say, hey, by clicking the pencil, add row, and now I can say my name. And now I can say my name, hello Dion, it should say now. So here, if I open this by clicking the chevron icon, you can see that now it has a variable which is my name. So let's see if it works now. Yeah, so this is okay. Log info, hello Dion. Still, this is not very dynamic because, of course, I just hard-coded the name Dion here. What if I want this node to accept things that are coming from the outside? Well, just for the example, I'm going to make this simple. I'm going to add another variable string node like this. Variable string, just add it here. And now this play button will start here, activated by the play button. And then I will configure this node to have the value Dion. And now I need this node here to accept something coming from the outside. So I go back to this values array here. And then I say, hey, I enable this, save the dictionary, and then connect the result of this node to this input here. And now it receives Dion from that node on that side. So there we go. This should contain hello Dion. There's one more thing that I want to show you for the absolute basics, and that is that this here now receives my name from the property on the node itself, which is great, but it can also reference this node directly. So I don't have to do it by passing this value there like I did now. What I can do now is just remove this this input here. By the way, I can remove the entire thing. And now I will connect this node here, which means it's not passing along the value to this node. So The on is not being used right now. This simply means you are going to activate this node. And if I want this to reference this node, all nodes have a handle. So with the handle, I can reference a node. They all get a default value. I mean a default, like a random generated value. In this case, I will simply call it node name, because if I'm going to use or reference an external node, I always like to rename them to something that is recognizable for me. So here we have node name, and now I can go here, and instead of using my name, I will say node name dot value. It would be one thing. I can also reference this result here, which is true path. So always called true. Let's do that just for clarity. True path. So the green outputs are called true path, and the red outputs are called false path. So now you can see that the placeholder has changed. And if I click this now, then you should see that it's also giving the exact same output. This is handy in situations where you want to reference a value from a node that was way back. So you don't have to drag a line from here to whatever. It's messy. You simply want to say, hey, I just want to take that value from that node that I know that is there. If you want to be able to see what nodes you can reference from a certain point, you can also check that here in the handles section. For example, if I click this log info node, then you can see this update. It will backtrack, and it will backtrack and see, okay, so we have a connected node here, and apparently this one is called main albatross white, and it has a value, and it has values, and it has true path, and it has false path. But further down the line, we go to the other one, which is which is node name, you see, so value. So you have a reference here as well. You can see exactly what you can use to reference values from other nodes. Yeah, I will leave it here for the absolute basics, because I've shown you the elements that you can create. I've shown you the logging. I've shown you how you can configure nodes and how you can check the output. You can, by the way, also check output from previous runs, which can be very useful as well. And I will leave this introduction tutorial here. I hope it was useful for you. I will go on to the next one, which will cover some slightly more less basic topics. Thank you for watching, and good luck with using PolySynergy.